Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the San Diego Comic-Con 2015 exclusive Terminator 2 Endoglow Terminator from NECA Toys. That's right, this year San Diego Comic-Con is filled with retro action figure homages thanks to NECA Toys. And they've actually been on a roll with this kind of thing, and they've done several kind of nods to past figures from Kenner, such as the glow-in-the-dark Night Stalker RoboCop, and some of the various Predator figures based on Kenner lines. So now we've got ourselves a Terminator based on that old Kenner action figure. I was very excited about this one, so let's dive in and check it out. As you can see, he comes on that thinner blister card packaging like we see a lot of modern NECA toys come on. But one of the things that's really rad about this is the fact that it completely pays homage to that vintage Kenner packaging. I absolutely love when NECA does this. So everything from the artwork in the background to the cool little glowing endoskeleton up there in the right-hand corner, all of it comes straight off that Kenner packaging. Even the NECA Toys logo on the box looks like the old Kenner logo. And when you flip it around to the backside, the similarities continue. We get a look at NECA's lineup of Terminator figures, but the whole layout comes straight off of those Kenner action figures. I mean, here we go. Look at them side by side. There's the vintage Kenner figure, along with this new NECA figure, and you can see how they took the design straight off of that vintage packaging. I love it, and I definitely think this is going to encourage a lot of people to buy this and keep it mint on card. But I'm not going to do that, because we got to open this guy up and take a closer look at the figure within. Alright, so now that we got this guy out of the packaging, it is worth noting that just like with that Kenner action figure, this Endoglow Terminator is just like the other endoskeletons we've already seen from NECA Toys, including those recent video game versions. So if you're familiar with that sculpt, you know exactly what you're getting here. The big difference on this guy is that the head, the chest, and the thighs are cast in a glow-in-the-dark plastic to kind of emulate that glow-in-the-dark feel that the vintage figure had. The sculpt is fantastic though, so if this is your first time seeing it, we definitely want to take a close look at that, because NECA does an amazing job of capturing the likeness of the endoskeleton straight out of the Terminator films with extreme detail. I love all the little wires and everything that are kind of hanging off the figure, specifically at the shoulders. Love the little piston portions that are in the midsection there, and the thighs, and all of it is very functional. So when we talk about the articulation, you'll notice that none of that stuff hinders the movement whatsoever. And the paint job on the figure is very nicely done, because it's done in this great kind of gunmetal silver color with a lot of wash on there that really makes it look run down. Even on the glow-in-the-dark sections, even though they stand out more than the silver portions, they still have a nice black wash on there to bring out all of the details. And of course on the skull, the eyes are red and the teeth are white, so he looks fantastic. So let's go ahead and talk about the articulation on this guy before we get on with some of his cool features. Just like we've seen in the past, the head has the ability to turn left and right and slightly up and down, as it is ball jointed at the top and it's even jointed at the bottom of the neck. You will notice he's got all these little wires kind of sticking off the side of his head, but you can still turn the figure just fine and they don't really cause any problems there. You got joints at the shoulder, so the arms can go upwards, forwards, backwards, and again, the cables kind of hanging off the shoulders are long enough so that they don't hinder that movement. You can also bend the elbows, and I love the way that the pistons work on the arms. Look at that, how they go in and out. That is so cool. And you can also swivel at the bicep, which really comes in handy for holding his gun that we're going to look at, and you can swivel him at the wrists. You can also rotate the torso left and right, and you'll notice that, very similar to the vintage figure, the little pistons in his midsection there rotate when you rotate the upper body. The legs can move outwards, forwards, backwards. Same thing with the pistons there. They don't really hinder the motion very bad at all. It actually works pretty well, and they move right there with the legs. You can also bend him at the knee, and then the feet have the ability to swivel at the ankle, and you even have a little toe cut. And even on the back here, like you got the little flaps that open up on the back and shut. So there's a lot of really cool articulation on this guy. And it's really cool how functional he is for being built the way he is. So he does a good job of capturing the likeness, but still functions so that you can get some poses out of him. Now, one of the poses that's key is getting him to hold on to his blaster. Now, the vintage Kenner Endoglow skeleton came with this crazy, oversized flamethrower. Unfortunately, we don't get a nod to that with this NECA figure. We just get the same blaster weapon that we've seen with the other endoskeletons in NECA's line. It does have a fantastic paint job that matches the rest of the figure, and he holds onto this perfectly in his right hand, and you can even get his finger into the trigger there so he can get a good hold onto it. And the way you can rotate his shoulders and his hands, you can even get some perfect two-handed poses with this guy. Alright, so now for the moment we've all been waiting for, let's look at the glow-in-the-dark feature with this guy. If you get this guy in a dark lit room after charging him up with some light, and especially if you've got a black light, he glows very brightly. Now it is slightly different than what we saw with the vintage figure, because on the vintage figure only the eyes really glowed on the head. On the new NECA version, the entire head glows. But it looks really cool, especially the way you can still see his face while it's glowing. It looks pretty great pairing this guy up with, say, that Night Force Robocop that NECA already did. We can have ourselves a glow-in-the-dark Robocop versus Terminator. How sweet is that? And since we're taking a look at glow-in-the-dark, it's comparison time. Here he is standing alongside the vintage Endoglow Terminator, both in standard light and in glow-in-the-dark. So there you go, my friends. There is a look at the brand new NECA Toys Endoglow Terminator coming exclusively to the 2015 San Diego Comic-Con. While it isn't an exact replica of that vintage figure just done up in the modern style, I do still appreciate the nods that we have here. I think the glow-in-the-dark feature works tremendously. This guy looks awesome in both regular lighting and in the dark, and I absolutely love the packaging. Seriously, I cannot get enough of these retro toy throwbacks. These and the video game figures, they're totally right up my alley. I love them. So if you're going to get a hold of this guy, unfortunately, you're going to have to get yourselves to San Diego Comic-Con this year. So happy hunting, my friends, and a special thanks to NECA Toys for sending this along so that we can take an early look at it. Until next time, my friends.